Now let's study the companion cells present in phloem. Okay, so these companion cells are the thin wall cells which are present at the sides of sieve tubes. Why they are present at the sides of sieve tubes? Because these companion cells help the sieve tubes for the transport of food materials through sieve tubes, because sieve tubes lack nucleus. So the activities which are taking place inside the sieve tube are controlled by the nucleus present inside the companion cells. So that's why, because of this reason, companion cells are present towards the sides of sieve tubes. So companion cells are present side by of sieve tubes. Sieve tubes. Okay, let's say this is a sieve tube. Let's say this is a sieve tube, right? Sieve tube. Sieve tube is made of, we already studied, it is made of several sieve elements or sieve members. Right. And this is the cross wall, or this is one sieve member, this is next sieve member, next sieve member, or sieve elements. And these are, this is the cross walls of sieve members or sieve elements. So in these cross walls, what are formed? Sieve pores are formed. So the cross walls which are with sieve pores are called sieve plate. We already studied. So now let's see the companion cells. So like this, companion cells are present towards the sides of these sieve tubes. Companion cells are present towards the sides of these sieve tubes. Like this, they are present towards the sides. Okay, and the cytoplasm of companion cell can be transported, can enter into the cytoplasm of sieve tube through the passage which is present on the common longitudinal wall of companion cell and sieve tube. I just repeat, the cytoplasm of companion cell can enter into the cytoplasm of sieve tube. Okay, because of the presence of passage on the common longitudinal wall of companion cells and sieve tubes. So this is the common longitudinal wall of companion cells and sieve tubes, which consists of passages for the entry of cytoplasm of companion cell into sieve tube and sieve tube to companion cell, right? So what are these passages called? These passages are called as pit fields. So where these pit fields are present? These pit fields are present in the common longitudinal wall of both the companion cell and sieve tube. Wall of companion cell, I am writing CC, and sieve tube, I am writing ST, right? Okay. Okay, how food transport occurs? Food transport occurs from one sieve tube to the another sieve, from one sieve member to the another sieve member present in the same sieve tube through the sieve pores present in sieve plates. Right. So what is the function of these companion cells now? So companion cells are involved in controlling the activities that occur inside the sieve tubes. So companion cells control the activities that occur inside the sieve tubes. Activities which occur inside the sieve tubes. Sieve tube. How they control the activities which occur inside the sieve tube? What is the activity that is taking place inside the sieve tube? That activity is transport or translocation of food material from one point to the another point. So how they control? By maintaining the pressure gradient which is developed inside the sieve tube. By maintaining this pressure gradient which is developed inside the sieve tube, these companion cells are involved in controlling the activities inside the sieve tube by maintaining the pressure gradient which is developed inside the sieve tube during the transport of food materials. So by maintaining the pressure gradient. Let's see what is this pressure gradient which is developed inside the sieve tube during the transport of food, and how this pressure gradient is maintained by the companion cells. Right. So let's say this is mesophyll cell. Let's say this is mesophyll cell. Mesophyll cell. From this mesophyll cell, food enters into sieve tube. When the food enters into sieve tube from mesophyll cell, osmotic pressure inside the sieve tube will be increased. Osmotic pressure increases, so that what happens? Water potential will be decreased inside the sieve tube. When water potential is decreased, I just repeat, inside the sieve tube, osmotic pressure increases due to the entry of food from mesophyll cell into sieve tube, and so that water potential inside the sieve tube will be decreased, and hence water enters into sieve tube from the adjoining xylem vessels, from the nearby xylem vessels. So due to the entry of water, water enters into what? Into sieve tube, phloem sieve tube. Due to the entry of water, phloem sap is formed inside the sieve tube. Phloem sap consists of now food, that is in the form of sugar, which is in the form of sucrose. So phloem sap is formed. This phloem sap consists of what? It consists of water and sugar, especially, that is sucrose, along with other minerals also. Right? Because water consists of minerals, different types of minerals. Right. Now, due to the formation of phloem sap here, inside the sieve cell, sieve member of the sieve tube, turgor pressure is developed. So here, in this region, in this cell, turgor pressure is more. Turgor pressure is developed. But on the other end of the sieve tube, turgor pressure is less. Here, turgor pressure is less. So what is happening? Pressure gradient is developed. So what is that gradient? Pressure gradient is developed, and that pressure gradient is maintained by the nucleus of the companion cell, because inside the sieve tube nucleus is absent, and hence the pressure gradient which is developed inside the sieve tube during the transport of food material through sieve tube is maintained by the nucleus present inside the companion cell. Hence companion cells are also called as helper cells or accessory cells, which assist sieve tube by maintaining the pressure gradient which is developed inside the sieve tube. Right? Okay, so this is about pressure gradient. Pressure gradient which is developed. So turgor pressure at one end, turgor pressure is increased, one end of the sieve tube. At the other ends, pressure gradient is decreased. So here gradient, pressure gradient is developed. What is pressure gradient? Here pressure is more, here pressure is less. So now what happens? Food transport occurs along the pressure gradient from the region of higher pressure to the region of lower pressure, and this pressure gradient is maintained by the nucleus of companion cell which is present inside the companion cell. Right? So this is about the functioning of companion cell. Now let's study the next part of this phloem, that is phloem parenchyma. Before studying about this phloem parenchyma and phloem fibers, let's study the sieve cells present in gymnosperms, which are present in gymnosperms, in the phloem of gymnosperms instead of sieve tubes. In gymnosperms already we studied that sieve tubes are absent, instead of sieve tubes sieve cells are present. Let's make the comparative study between sieve tubes of angiosperms and sieve cells of gymnosperms present in gymnosperms, in the phloem of gymnosperms. And let's make the comparative study between the companion cells present in the phloem of angiosperms and the albuminous cells which are present in the phloem of gymnosperms.